Thanks so much for your time with us. And I have two guests here from the NDC and the NPP. Kofi is a member of the NPP. Kofi, good morning once again.
Good morning, Bryce.
How are you?
I've been well.
Great.
I've been here for a while, so now I'm a full Ghanaian now.
Yeah, you are. That's why I just went ahead to say that you were a member of the NPP's communication team, Kofi Ameyave. And then Fred Agbenyo is a Deputy Communications Director of the NDC. Fred, good morning to you.
Good morning,
Hope you're doing great.
By the grace of God. Yourself?
Okay. I'm also fine after taking some rest. This morning, a lot of the pages here are talking about the petrol price adjustments. The Daily Graphic puts the story this way. It says that fuel prices go down as Parliament passes a special petroleum tax bill. A story by Musa Jafaro says that Parliament yesterday passed the Special Petroleum Tax Amendment Bill 2018 to reduce the special tax from 15 to 13%. With the passage of the bill, the ex-pump price of petrol will go down by 3.39%, while that of diesel will reduce by 4.14%. The bill, which was passed under the Certificate of Emergency, amended the Special Tax Act 2014, Act 879, and provided for a change from an ad valorem rate to a specific tax rate on selected petroleum products. We were told that the Finance Committee of Parliament, the chairman, Dr. Mark Esibeyebwa, said in the estimation of the NPA, upon the passage of the bill into law, the price of petrol will reduce from the present 4.67 cedis per litre to 4.51 cedis per litre. Diesel will sell at 4.48 per litre instead of the current price of 4.67 per litre. He said, with the deregulated market, the price calculations by the NPA only showed indicative ceilings and not necessarily the actual prices at each pump station, since the oil marketing companies were free to sell comparatively or competitively below the indicative ceiling. Dr. Esibeyebwa said the passage of the bill will bring relief to consumers of products. We're told that the president has assented to the bill, which means it is now a law. Quickly go to your various pump stations and let us know how much they are selling. Kofi, let me start with you. We're told by the Deputy Finance Minister that this government is a listening one, and so the downward adjustment in the prices. Is government satisfied that the consumer will be satisfied with the 2% cut on this tax?
Good morning to you. Good morning to Fred and to your viewers and those also listening. No, government is not satisfied because Ghanaians are indeed suffering. There are genuine challenges facing Ghanaians as we speak now. Unemployment is still on the high.
Right.
People are struggling to find jobs. We are stabilizing the economy. That does not necessarily mean it has to translate into the lives of Ghanaians. So we believe we can do more. We believe and we genuinely understand that Ghanaians are not doing so well at the moment, just because of the fact that where we have come from was not a good one. The wounds that were left to us were not just bruises, they were deep cuts. So there's a need for us to heal those wounds and make sure the scars are taken away as well. With the reduction of the special petroleum tax from 17.5 when we came to meet it to now 13%, it's an indication that indeed we are a listening government. It's an indication that indeed we are a sensitive government, that we listen and we understand and we appreciate the plight of Ghanaians. That's why we have reduced it. You see, when you go back and look at the history of this particular tax, it was an indication and it was a manifestation of how the NDC were abysmally performing with regards to the economy, because the import of this particular tax was to raise revenue to cushion the economy. Remember, at that time,
when prices of crude
were actually reduced, we're not even on the high. But because we didn't have money, because our economy was doing so bad. Remember, within that same year, 2014, Ghana's currency was the worst in the world, not even in West Africa. And remember, the World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness said that our budget deficit was the worst. In fact, they ranked at 141 out of 144. And remember, we also went to Senche in 2014, around the same time, later when they introduced this particular tax. Then later on in April 1st, 2015, they went to IMF for a bailout. Clearly an indication that one, they can raise revenue, two, they can manage the economy, or they can be disciplined with our fiscal policies, and three, slow growth. So for me, we are indeed a listening government. We did not go to Parliament to increase taxes, to do well with the economy. We went to Parliament to reduce taxes to cushion Ghanaians. We understand that 2% might not be significant, but we have made several attempts, bold attempts to ensure that we deal with the situation surrounding this energy debt. Because remember, we have a legacy debt. You see, I will plead with Ghanaians. In as much as we are making demands for government to continue to reduce taxes and abolish or even scrap, we should remind ourselves and avert our minds to the fact that we have a history in this country where government was subsidizing for us with regards to petroleum products. And that amounted to the debt that we are experiencing. Sometimes, somehow, I do understand why they introduced the ESLA, the Energy Sector Levy Amendment, to increase to about 20%, as it were, whilst even the world crude price of was selling about $37. So for me, clearly, to answer to your question, MPP is a listening government, and you see, it's not just about the special petroleum tax that we have, reduced. When we came into government, we've been able to abolish some taxes. We've been able to do away or reduce some taxes. That needs to be, to be commended as well. So if they are telling us, oh, take away all the taxes, when you came, we promised you take away all the nuisance taxes. Yes, we have. If you are talking specifically with regards to the special petroleum taxes, we will do that in due time, because
it will be taken off.
That I can sit here and promise. But I know we are taking steps, bold steps, to ensure that we take away not just this tax, but any tax that we deem are not helping the good people of this country. So that's exactly what we are doing. So clearly, indeed, Marcus Yabwa is right in saying that, yes, we are sensitive. Because remember, anytime you go to Parliament, we are either reducing taxes or putting money in the pockets of Ghanaians. But our friends here, when they go to Parliament, they either increase taxes or take money out of the pockets of Ghanaians. That's not what we've been doing ever since we came to government. So yes, I know we are struggling as a people. I know I buy food. Nobody buys it for me. I buy it myself. I don't get paid. I'm unemployed.
Right.
And I feel it. I've been here for 2 months, and out of the 2 months, I realized an increase in about 20 pesos. Because when I came, it was 4.4. Now it's 4.6 something. So clearly, it's tough. But at the end of the day, now there has been some slight reduction to about 20 pesos again, so you'll be going back to 440 or somewhere about. So it's not the best, but it's good for now. And we've been given a 4-year mandate, not just 2 years or 3 years, 4 years. So let's see what will pan out as we go forward.
I'm grateful. Kofi is a member of the NPP's communications team. Fred, let me quickly come. So the minority yesterday, after the passage of the bill, held a press conference and urged government to remove the tax. You have sure listened to government and why it thinks that gradually taking off the tax is the best way. Why do you think the tax must go?
Well, Bright, thank you very much, and good morning to your viewers and yourself and my brother. Well, I think that it is not NDC which is necessarily calling for the tax to be removed, but the people of this country who are reminding the government that prior to coming to office, you made a promise that the tax that was the special levy tax was not a good tax, and that when you come into office, you are coming to remove the tax. So the people of this country are already reminding you that the promise that you gave them, please fulfill the promise. And I don't think that by saying that they are asking for too much. I have heard, I don't want to call it a lamentation of my brother and how things are terrible and how things are bad. I remember before the elections, President Anado, then candidate Anado, told us that there's so much money in our economy. He's been a minister before. His vice president told us he's been a deputy governor of Bank of Ghana before, and that we have so much money and that we don't need all these taxes to be able to run the government. So once they come into office, they were going to remove the taxes. So if today Ghanaians are asking them to fulfill that promise, how do you turn back and blame Ghanaians for asking for too much? Bright, where we sit today, let them tell us what percentage increment has come on petroleum products since they took office. Since they took office on the 7th of January 2017 up to now, they should tell us the percentage increment, more than 24% percentage increment in the price of petroleum products. So if today you go to Parliament to reduce by 2%, and then quickly you have announced to the whole world that you want all of us to applaud you, it's our own business. The good thing is that everybody who buys fuel lives in this country. The taxi drivers, the tractor drivers, those who use fuel for other commercial activities, they are living in the country. So if you are saying that you are putting money in the pockets of Ghanaians, Ghanaians are watching you, Ghanaians are listening to you. If indeed your government is putting money into their pocket, they are the best judges. It is not me alone. It is true you also go to the filling station to buy fuel. Several other people go to buy fuel. Not too long ago, you saw our taxi drivers demonstrating that the price of fuel is just skyrocketing, just going up and up and up, and that government must do something about it. Now you go to Parliament to reduce by 2%, and you say you have done something. We have come from a place up until we got to where we are now as a country, bright. Long before all this challenge, before the special levy was introduced, remember at the time, energy problem we had in this country, government had to be buying crude oil at a point VRA was spending about $3 million a day in buying light crude oil, able to power the thermal plants. Now, by the grace of God, we came into office, we have built the turbo gas. You have regular gas supply. You are no more spending money on that. We have invested so much heavily in the energy sector. We have brought up new plants that are all working. So you are not doing any investment in the sector like we did. So if you cannot reduce or fulfill the promise that you made to the people of this country, and you come and sit here and say lament and say that when NDC was in the office, it was worse, we will leave that to the judgment of Ghanaians. If indeed NDC was doing everything correct, I don't think they would have voted us out. So this is not the time for you to come and tell Ghanaians what you inherited. I see. You know about the situation before you come into office.
So you think genuinely that the tax can be taken off and government won't suffer any revenue setbacks?
Right, they are managing the economy. They know what we have in the kitties. I don't know. So they said they know any time when we government, any time we even put our figures, they told us they were not good figures. They were not the right figures. And that they had the right figures. And so they know what is in there.
So should we accept when they say that because of the wounds that or the gap that was left by the previous government, they need to slow down in taking off this tax so that they can rake in
a very weak argument. Every government inherits assets and liabilities. The assets that this government inherited are far outweigh the liabilities. And so you cannot make that argument. I have said that today, if our energy sector is stabilized, electricity is stabilized for having electricity, it is because the investment that John Mahama's administration did in that sector. Tell us one investment you have done in the energy sector since you took over office. Tell us.
The government
all the money, the loans you have contracted. The
government says the problems we're going through was not that of inability to produce, but the money wasn't there to buy.
Right. Tell them to close down one of the plants, just one plant that was brought on board during that the crisis period, and see what will happen to this country. Or they should remove this same tax, they should remove it completely and see what will happen to this country. If they said the problem was not a technical problem, was not the fact that the installed capacity was not inadequate, and that was financial problem, tell them to close down one plant. They should close down Mary or any of the plants that we brought on board, unless what happened in this country. They are tickling themselves and laughing. The fact is that Ghanaians have regretted so much. Everywhere you pass, everybody is complaining, including him. I'm sure on site he cannot say it. If we move out now, he will be crying. Their own people are crying. Things are tough. People cannot pay. Go to our markets. Right, go to our markets today and ask the market women. Talk to the drivers. Talk to the ordinary Ghanaian. Things are tough. This government has become so insensitive. The electricity bills are still going up. Water bills are going up. We are now rationing water. When they took over office, we have stabilized the energy sector. Water was flowing everywhere in Accra. The 4 gallon was out of the system. We are back into it again. And yet they come back and tell us they are doing so well, we should applaud them. What have you done since you took office more than 1 year? Point to one thing. Mention just one.
Okay.
I'm not asking for two.
Okay.
Rhetorics. One district, one factory. You ask them where the factory is, they will point to a forest.
I will tell you what we have done.
One district, one dam. You ask them where the dam is, it was because when the rainy season, when the rains finish, we will build a dam. We are going back to the rainy season. They've not constructed any dam. Rhetorics is as if a mother or a father who goes out to town, coming back home, carries a stone and wrap in a paper and come to give to the son that I've brought to toffee. That is the exact way they are treating all of us. This government simply doesn't care. They just don't know what to do. There's absolute confusion in the entire system.
So this reduction won't benefit us.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
Will it benefit you?
There's a reduction.
Will it benefit you? Because you know what they do? Can I just land? Anytime they're going to the increment, they don't announce it. You go to a filling station in the morning to buy fuel, and it's at a particular price. You go back in the afternoon, the price has changed quietly. They are putting small percent. They don't tell anybody. If you have come into office and have increased petroleum products by over 24%, and today you have made a reduction of 2%, and you think you have done so well, so everybody should come and lie down and praise you, I don't understand it. And so if you think you are putting money in the pocket of Ghanaians, if you think your government really cares about Ghanaians, you are doing very well, we'll leave that to the judgment of our viewers. We are all living in the country.
All right.
Right.
Fred, I'm
Make
grateful.
some responses. First of all, with the greatest of respect to my big brother here, Fred, it's never true. We never promised Ghanaians we will take away the special petroleum tax.
You were not here, you were in America.
Oh, come on.
No, Kofi,
Hold
you
on. It's about fact. Don't go there.
No, you know you were
the argument is
no, but I'm telling the truth, right? You were here.
Fred,
Page 17.
Can I quote?
Page 17.
No, he's
Okay, let me go bullet for you.
Page 17 of our manifesto. Shifting the focus of economic management from taxation to production. These were the taxes we promised Ghanaians we will do away or we will reduce. 1. Reducing the corporate tax rate from 25% to 20%. Removing import duties on raw materials and machinery for production within the context of the ECOWAS Common External Tariff Protocol. Abolishing the special import levy. Abolishing the 17.5 VAT on imported medicines not produced in the country. Abolishing the 17.5% VAT on financial services. Abolishing the 5% VAT on real estate sales. Abolishing the 17.5 VAT on domestic airline tickets. Reducing VAT for micro and small enterprises from the current 17.5 to 3% flat rate VAT introduced by the Kufuor-led MPP government. Introducing tax cuts and other incentives for businesses that hire young graduates from tertiary institutions. And the last one, reviewing withholding taxes imposed on various sectors, including the mining sector, that have constrained the liquidity of many businesses. Where did, in our manifesto, did you mention?
All right,
but we realize, hold on, we do realize, you see, I'll continue to remind the good people of this country the mess you guys created, because as long as you guys remain a political party wishing to come back to government, there's the need for me to remind Ghanaians that no, it will be a mistake for them to vote you back into office. Because whilst we are reducing taxes, whilst we are attempting to reduce their burdens, you are increasing their burdens. So we came here with a huge, you see, sometimes when our friends talks about liabilities and assets and all of that, they forget to mention when we went to Parliament to read our Sempa budget, the 5 challenges we told them, which included less capital investment, slow growth, less revenue performance, physical indiscipline. Why are you not refuting all of these facts? Because these are important. In fact, when you went to IMF in 2015, you were giving targets. You failed to even achieve a single one of those targets. So we came to meet a mess. It's a fact. But we can't continue to lament. We can't continue to chronicle all of these challenges we came to meet. But we are doing better. The taxes that I just told you, what have we done? About 80% of them. We are taking steps.
Let me chip in this.
No, Brian, but I think before you chip in, what do you want to chip
because it's the same issue. I'm coming to you on them because he said they never promised, and we would like to find out if some
we never promised. It's
on the
in our
campaign
manifesto.
platform. In the manifesto, there was no promise of abolishing this particular tax, but we know that the current MP who chairs the Finance Committee of Parliament told Parliament that this tax is a nuisance tax, and that when the MPP is in power, it will be scrapped.
Nanado said it.
It was on the 19th of November in Parliament.
Where did he say it?
But in the manifesto, it is not there. But Kofi, let me quickly chip in this.
But I thought I could make a response to what
I'll get you to make the response. What about the argument that some have suggested that government trying to rake revenue from fuel prices is a lazy way of managing an economy, and the government should remove this tax and find a way to make revenue?
To be fair to this discussion, it's true, because you see, where I live now in the United States, they increase prices of fuel every now and then without necessarily announcing to the people. When you go, even Exxon will be here and Shell will be here, and you see their prices different. You come in the next minute and it has increased. Nobody complains about it because the economy is doing so well. Because the purchasing power of the people is there for them to buy it. So they don't complain, they don't talk about it. Because when somebody wants a job, they can readily apply and get a job and do something with it. So they don't complain. But because, and remember, if you look at the import, the meaning, the true understanding of this particular special petroleum tax, it was to raise revenue, to help cushion the economy. So clearly, this was a lazy and a weak attempt to do well in the economy or to do right by the good people of this country. So I do understand that this particular tax is not something that was supposed to be there if we had managed the economy well. But here we are. The economy has been managed so poorly. We need revenue to be able to address the free SHS issue. We need money to address a lot of issues in this country. So we are telling the good people of this country, yes, we understand. Yes, we appreciate your difficulties, but give us time. And that's what we are doing, gradually reducing those taxes. Not just the special petroleum tax, but also other taxes that we found nuisance. So at the end of the day, I am telling this to the good people of this country. We have a president, we have a government that's committed to making sure that Ghanaians found relief in voting for them. So our friends here, though they shouldn't have the moral right to come and tell us to scrap it off, even when they brought it, they introduced it to 17.5%. Now it's 13% in about 2 years. We are stabilizing the economy. Right. Stabilizing the economy does not necessarily mean we are doing so well with the economy. Now we are on a good footing. Okay. Remember Moody, Fitch, Standard & Poor rated as B- negative outlook, now B+ positive outlook. So gradually we are getting there.
Right. Go and check all the projections that were made by all the institutions just mentioned in 2016. All of them predicted that by 2017 our economy was going to stabilize because the measures have been put in place by the then administration. The fact that we are going to resolve the energy crisis that we had and the whatever resources that we got, we are going to inject into production of the economy. He is talking about capital investment. Ask him, they've been in office for more than 1 year. It should point to one capital investment they have done in this country. It should point to one. It is true that at the time this particular tax was introduced, what was our situation? Ghana will export petroleum crude to the international market. At the time, the price had come down so much, we had made projections that depending upon whatever result we got from there, we're going to do various developments across the country. Then the price had gone down. So a government that was mindful of developing the country, providing infrastructure and all the people need, decided to introduce a tax. It's not a tax that was supposed to be there permanently. You said at the time that was creating problem. And then when you come into office, you were going to reduce it. Now you are in office and you are giving excuses. You are telling us, you just mentioned the tax that they claim they will reduce. Tell us how any of those ones have any effect on Ghanaians. Go to Abosokan today. When they read the so-called Asempa budget, and they forced the people to go and bring brass band and all manner of things to enjoy at Abosokan. Today, go to Abosokan and go and mention to them that they've reduced any import duties and see what they will tell you. And so you can sit in the comfort of your office and think that you have done all these things, Ghanaians are happy now, you claim you are putting money in their pocket. If indeed you are putting money in their pocket, they know about it. It is not for me to tell them. Because the good thing is all of us are living in the country. Okay. You said you are stabilizing the economy. Now do I remember, I think on the 6th of May 2009, when we took over office, he said, if the economy is broke, fix it. When we came into office, we met several arrears, we had to spend money to pay, contracted that you have not paid. We did all those things. So the things we are complaining about today are not new. Every new government that comes to office will meet arrears. Every new government that comes to office will meet some liabilities. But when you are meeting the liabilities, then you mention the assets. I have just pointed out to you that the assets that you inherited as a government, if you look at the revenue they are getting from our petrol that we are producing at the various fields, the revenue from there exceeds any revenue I've ever gotten in our entire history. They are getting so much money. Look at the number of loans they are going in for every now and then. Tell them to point to one thing they have done with their loan. There's not building a hand hoop anywhere. There's not built any school anywhere. No hospital, no water, nothing. All right. And so if you tell me you are doing well, that's your own problem.
You see, the loans he's
talking about. Could we wrap up in just 2 minutes? Let's talk about road safety.
We go for the loan for two major purposes. To reprofile our debts, extend the maturity period, and also to make sure we have enough reserve so that the forex exchange regime will do better. So what are you talking about? We didn't go broke because
So
we want to
that
go,
is what
go
you
down.
are looking for.
Of course, that's what we said.
Yeah, I'm
So what
grateful.
happened in terms of investment in the country?
I'm grateful. Let me go to the finder. Yesterday, TV3 premiered Dangerous Highways. Portia Gabo put together what's happening on the N1 highway. The spate of accident, over 3,000 people involved in accident, over 300 killed. Today, the finder has a story, rising road accidents. 180 died in January. President Akufo-Addo tasked 3 ministers to find a solution. So we have the Interior Minister, the Transport and the Roads and Highways Ministry. All of them have been asked to sit down and take a look at how we can prevent accidents. We're told, for instance, that 28.68% jump in injuries is what we have recorded. 23.2% increase in vehicles involved, 16.10% commercial vehicles, and 23.2% private vehicles. All these are upward increases in the numbers. So a worrying situation there. 3 ministries are to work on this. Fred, how do we deal with the spate of accidents on our roads?
But to be honest with you, I don't stop praying anytime I sit by the wheel up until I get back to wherever I am going to.
Prayer is adequate?
Yes, that is me, because anytime I drive around, I get so scared of the things I see. If you drive during the daytime, it's not the best. In the night, it's not the best. Right. This subject of people leaving their broken down vehicles on our roads is a major issue that we need to tackle. Our streets are very, very dark already. Our roads, our major highways, we don't have lights on our major highways. Then just somewhere in the corner, you see somebody, a broken down vehicle, they leave it out there. The best you can see them do is to get some leaves and put behind the vehicle, in front of the vehicle. Not even a reflector, nothing. And so if you are not lucky, you just run into the vehicle. Our contractors who construct our roads, I think that the time has come for us to really talk to them. Because when they give you money to construct a new road, oftentimes they'll give you money for bypass, to divert roads and stuff like that. And when you are doing all those things, well, I think that you put some reflectors and other things, say road signals in place. But all of us know the kind of things that we drive through. If you have never used a road before and you have to use it for the first time, you need to be extra careful on the road. Because nobody will give you any sign. There are no signs, there are no signals. You can just run into anything just like that. I get worried when sometimes you are driving, you pass by a police checkpoint. Then the next moment you meet a vehicle moving, no reflectors at the back at all. The car is smoking, the car is not moving well, and yet that vehicle passed by a police checkpoint. And then you ask yourself, how did he pass by the checkpoint? That he was not stopped, was no question. You drive on our motorway, the only motorway that we have in this country. Vehicles that are not moving very well, they are not moving very fast. They take the inner lane, pile up, create traffic, and all manner of problems. Look at even our motorway. Concrete platform. We use bitumen to patch it. And so every now and then, there are potholes on the motorway. I remember since 2009, the effort that was made to lighten up the motorway. Government tries, the next moment people move in there and go remove their waste to go and sell. And so it's as if we ourselves don't care. Once we can make money, we will destroy whatever investment the government has made for the benefit of the entire society. You see, when you go and check all our statutes, we have followed the laws to regulate the usage of our roads. But as if the laws are just there and we are not implementing them fully. If you check the statistics that you just put out right now, Bright, you can't compare the deaths that are going through accidents to even HIV/AIDS or even malaria. The number of lives that we lose through accidents, the number of injuries that people sustain through accidents. But it's because when prominent people go through these things, it is highlighted, we speak about them, and that is it. But ordinary Ghanaians, who nobody knows them, breadwinners of families, I'm going to work and come. Look what happened, I think, on Monday. Was it Monday that it rained or Tuesday? A car coming from, I think, it's the one of Fanko area. Right. 6 people on the spot. 6 people on the spot. And I think that's becoming very, very, very worrying. How do we do I am not happy with this ad hoc measures. As though it is now we are realizing that we have a problem. So 3 minutes, quickly, 3 minutes says, quickly meet and find a solution. This is a problem that has been with us only God knows how long. you know, raise a road safety commission. Occasionally you see them running adverts and stuff like that. Is that enough? Our checkpoints. Now, when you go to advanced country where they have all this cameras, you don't see policemen standing by the roadside and check. It is cameras they use. And so you are told the speed you are supposed to go at every part of the road. But here, our cameras have just become, you know, some white elephant, beautiful decoration. Nobody is able to track anybody by those. How are we trained? Those who drive on our roads. And so it is a major issue. I don't think I can provide a solution alone sitting here. But we need to have serious stakeholder meeting. Which category of vehicles are involved in accidents most in this country? Is it a private user of vehicle? Is it a commercial drivers? One accident, 10 lives, 15 lives, 12 lives. Why? We can't continue like that. This is not the only country that vehicles are on the road. We don't have too many vehicles on our roads. And that jurisdiction, they don't have what we have. And so we need to find out what is that they are doing. And I definitely will blame it on road contractors themselves, the kind of roads we are constructing. And I think that our police, they are doing a good job. Stand at the checkpoints. I get worried sometimes. I'm not to advise them on their work. Well, for instance, you close from work sometimes 10 in the night, 10, 11, 9. Then you get to in front of Presec. Every blessed day, constantly there's a police checkpoint over there. And so you join a queue from, say, Okponglo Junction. You get there, and the only thing they'll do is to flash a torchlight in your face, pass. And so a journey is supposed to take about maybe 10 minutes to do. You end up taking 1 hour to do. I don't know why it should be like that. But we still have those things happening. So I think that it is good the president has gotten involved in this. It's admonishing the ministers to quickly have a round table and see how we can find a solution. The media must seriously pick it up. All of us must talk about it. It's becoming just unacceptable for all of us. Very, very risky now to drive on our roads.
Kofi,
Right.
the three ministers, are they able to provide a solution to what is happening?
I like the dimension you've taken, but for me, that's besides the point. I agree largely with Fred with regards to what our problems are. We all know them. Indeed, our roads are horrible, extremely bad. I was traveling for the first time, driving alone to Koforidua. And you see, the bad news is, if you don't know the road, you might die. Because you don't know where the pothole is, you don't know where the road is not good enough, it's horrible. So for me, what I figured was going to Koforidua, maybe the mountains, so I was slowing down all the time, and I was able to go through it. At one point, in the middle of getting to a bridge or something, right about a couple of meters, it's like somebody has heaped some dust there. So when you go by, you will not see anything. There's no visibility. You don't see a car coming from your left or your right or your back. You just pray that you can be able to get to the good side of the road and then see your way clearly. That's horrible. And then the other part is, for me, how our drivers, especially commercial drivers, use the parts, the spare parts, the second-hand parts. It's also a huge contribution to, because you see, one thing is funny when you are living in the United States. When you go to a mechanic and you tell the mechanic there's a problem with your radiator or water pump, they don't fix it for you. They will tell you to go and buy another one. Even if you should lose something that they can ward, or they will tell you get the whole thing. So that's where then we talk about indiscipline in this country, not just our roads or in our homes, but there's so much indiscipline in this country. When you drive around, somebody will cross the red light without necessarily paying attention to the incoming car from other cross sections. So we have so much indiscipline in this country. The last point I want to say, contributing to all of these debt, is our greed as a people. We are greedy. Because when you realize some of the deaths that have currently occurred, it's because he wants to speed up and get to his destination and come back because he wants to make the money at the end of the day. The contractor, instead of him to do the right thing, he wouldn't do it because of some money he would put into his pocket. The contractors on the road, not greed on the part of contractors or on the part of the ordinary Ghanaian, but politicians and civil servants as well. Because of money, because of corruption, they will take the money and put the money in their pockets, realizing that without a proper job being done, because they didn't use the full amount they were supposed to use for that particular, contract, people will die as a result. But moving forward, what can we do? I believe we need to use technology. One thing I didn't like about these Ghana Post GPS was its inability to tell us if there is something on the road. Because when you go to the United States, you realize there is a GPS called WAS. If you are driving in about 500 meters. It will be able to tell you if there's a car stopped over there, even if there's a stone on the road. It will tell you there's a stone on the road. Even if there's a hazard on the road, it will be able to tell you there's a hazard. Then the one thing the police doesn't like, that if there's a police ahead of you, it will tell you there's a police ahead of you. And I would have loved that we use that technology in this country. It will help a great deal. Then we talk about the fact that we need a CCTV. You see, in an attempt to formalize on a road, in an attempt to formalize the economy, I want to also see a situation where when you overspeed, when you speed off, the camera will take it, bring your bill to you, and if you fail to pay your fine, you know, your license will be taken away. Even in the United States, they will arrest you and put you in court because you
sanctions.
Yes. And then the last point I want to make is that, you see, moving forward, in the United States, I had to go for my driver's license test for 5 times.
Before you pass?
Oh, yes. In Massachusetts. 5 times. Because when you make a single mistake, you are denied. But in this country, what do we see? Everybody is given a license. My brother tells me when you go to the port, those guys who drive the long truck, they don't know how to drive. They are just the small boys there washing the cars and sleeping the cars. 1 minute you see them in a car driving, no license. Because when the police stop, I don't recall the last time. I remember anytime the police stops me, the first thing I do is take off my wallet and give them my license. Then they ask me, what do I need your license for? So indeed, we have a problem in this country.
But one other observation.
Quickly,
when you drive around our cities, you know, these signboards that people are just mounting.
They block views.
They block views. When they are entering into a main road, people put all manner of signboards to block the entire view. And I think that the AMA and the various assemblies should regulate.
The other day I was driving around Laboni, and I was right at the intersection. I wanted to make a left. The signboard. I could not
see
what is going on?
You can't see on vehicles.
But have you taken a look at the N1 highway? I mean, the accidents because there are no footbridges on it. Kofi, have you used that since?
Of course, all the time. It's sad. I don't want to sound political.
People struggling to fight drivers.
I don't want to sound political with it, but provisions were made for all of this. But our brothers, you know, Fred, I don't want to.
But I think when you put it that way,
all right.
No, I'm not going there.
I'm not going to go.
There were provisions for all of this.
As for me, this is about Ghana. It's not about politics.
No, I'm just saying. That's why I didn't make it. I didn't mention it.
But the point I'm making is that
political point.
I get worried if you get to a place like La Paz. We don't even need a footbridge. These days, what people are doing even out there to do this underground.
An underground.
Canal for people to pass through. Because ask about the disabled who cannot climb the footbridge. How do you expect them to cross the road? Look at the question about. We are doing the same. How do you expect the disabled to? Because we don't even make provision for them in most cases to be able to even use their wheels to climb. So another bridge or something will do.
Bright
it
and
is
Fred.
so serious.
Bright and Fred. You see, sometimes when you look back and you look at our problems in this country, we should give a political party at least 16 or 20 years. Because the problems in this country
cannot be fixed.
My goodness.
Okay.
Even if you provide, even if you give them, even if you provide 745,000 jobs, it will not be enough.
Gentlemen, I'm grateful. We have to wrap up. Yes, we'll show you dangerous highways. Portia will put that together, and she'll be joining me very soon. Kofi Amia is a communication member of the NPP. Fred Agbinyo is a deputy communication director of the NDC. You sent in your comments. We'll read them. Stay right here. You very soon see dangerous highways, and then we'll have more coming up on the show.